You're listening to the Deidre Reigel Hope and Healing Radio Show, where your voice matters. We're glad you're here and believe you will be too. And now, Deidre Reigel with today's guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I am so pleased to have on the show today Wenda Blake. So Wenda, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Deidre.
Let me just tell our folks a little bit about you, that you grew up in Oregon. You're now living in Colorado for the past 30 years, which just sounds delightful. And let me tell the audience that I met you through our mutual friend, Italian composer Marco Misinato, and it's been a great blessing for me to have met you, Wenda. And I want to let the audience know also that you have been Marco's business partner and manager for over 4 years now. And boy, I really salute you both for the work that you've been doing and contributing to our planet. And as far as you and me, I just bless this journey that you and I have begun. It has been so far amazingly remarkable. I'm looking forward to where it goes. And again, I say I am so delighted to have you on our show today. So with that, Wenda, let me welcome you and ask you to share a little bit about yourself for our listeners.
Okay. Thank you, Deidre. First of all, thank you specifically for inviting me on this show. I have been looking forward to doing this ever since you actually mentioned it to me. So, and also, I just want to send my own personal blessings to all of our listeners right now and throughout the time that we have together here. So, and Deidre, I just want to also say to everyone that it's always, always exciting to talk with you and folks all over to share our journeys, what they mean to us, and the blessings that we experience here on this beautiful planet Earth. It's I love this journey, and we all have so much to share and talk about and join together. So yes, I had the fortunate experience of being born in the beautiful state of Oregon and then chose another beautiful state, Colorado, to spend the latter half of my life, and can't even imagine going anywhere, living anywhere, calling my home besides Colorado. It's so beautiful here. But I would just like to share with everyone that I was actually born into an awakened family, about 50-plus years ago. And I'm finding that that's somewhat unique in that both my parents, especially on my maternal mother's side, were very awakened individuals. In fact, my grandmother studied ascended masters and angels and believed in reincarnation. So she taught my mother, and my mother taught me.
Wow.
From the time I was born. Yes. And it's, I would just bring forth from my heart that it was very unique to be nurtured from birth about who I am, and in particular, the I am that I am, the multidimensional creative self that I am. And yes, it was unique. Yes, it was very much a blessing to know that, but that certainly doesn't mean that I lived a perfect life, because I went through a lot of challenges as I was growing up, just as much as any other person on this planet. You know, the emotions of growing up, you know, the pains of being bullied as a child or felt like people didn't love me. I went through a couple of very, very early in life marriages that didn't work. Fortunately, I'm on my third marriage that is still going strong after 28 years. So
wonderful. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. And through that marriage, I had two beautiful girls. They're just about, one's on their own and the other one's just about to fly the coop here, but beautiful, beautiful, what a joy-filled experience to raise them. But of course there was...
And yes, and a big accomplishment, yes, a big accomplishment and challenging, yes.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing I'll share is that I did work and live in the business world, the corporate America world, for over 30 years. So I had my experiences there. I remember questioning, why am I here? Why am I in this kind of dense reality? And, why wasn't I a healer or a psychic or a whatever? And the message that always came to me was it was very important to get my energy imprint out there into mainstream. And that everybody that I would touch and work with would glean something from that experience in a positive manner. So the other thing I would say is there's always been, if someone asked me, what is Wenda about? When I reflect back over my life, I always come up with the word love. Love has been at the core of who Wenda is. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I just wanted to plant that seed in speaking about, my background and who I am. So
I hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I have known, because my mother taught me from early on, that I realized that I am the creator of my own matrix of creation.
Wow. And I think that's where our real hope lies, not depending on anyone else, but really depending on the power, the creative power that we have to create our own matrix of life. So I really hear you on that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I simply think of myself as, I am the creator of Wenda's world. And all those things that I find around me, I'm calling my matrix. The people, the things, where I live, I refer to them as the actors and the props that surround me. I know that I have created that matrix, and I brought in with me all the tools, all the DNA codes, all the energetic blueprints to accomplish my divine plan. Before my soul came into embodiment, I had a plan. And I brought all those props and actors and everything I needed in to learn and move through the progression of this life.
Wenda, that is such a beautiful explanation of what you mean when you say matrix of your own creation. And I think this is something that all of us on the planet now, in one way or another, whether we realize it or not, are awakening to within ourselves. And I think to have a conversation like this in conscious terms is so valuable for you and me to have, to send that energy out through all the airwaves, to really encourage people to think about the power that we have. And what I find remarkable about your story so far as you tell it is that you, as a soul, chose to be born into an awakened family that had history through generations preceding. And yet you still, as a soul and as an embodied incarnate spirit on the planet, experience trials and tribulations of life. And you've now come to a point, I assume, where you realize this is what you chose and what you have been co-creating with. And when you say that you are the creator of Wenda's world and all the actors and props that surround you are things that you have created and called in to work with, that is absolutely remarkable, and I believe is where we are ascending as a human race. And you are obviously one of the people who is leading the way. So I have enormous praise for your awareness and your candor to share this. And I would love to ask you at this point to share a little more with us about your concept of the word love. What is your concept of love, Wenda?
You know, I know there's a lot of definitions, and even from a religious standpoint, people talk about the different aspects of love. But for me, I guess the clearest way to describe it is unconditional love, because I feel it from the very depths of my heart. And I feel love for whatever my eyes gaze upon or whatever I'm experiencing. And I'm not a Pollyanna, you know, and I don't just sit and ooze love all the time, but I feel it, I know it, I experience it, I share it, I give it, I receive it, and it's no matter what. And I guess I say love without expectation, love without judgment, love without manipulation. And, of course, I fall down and skin my knee, and I step into judgment. I step into manipulation. I know, I observe myself doing it, and I go, okay, thank you for pointing that out, and I move on. But
yes.
So I don't want to paint the picture that I'm something that I'm not. I am Wenda. I am experiencing life like everybody else, but I recognize and feel and bring forth unconditional love. I would describe it as pure love physically glowing outward from the heart. And that shows in you. Yes. And I share that so that other people will recognize it. For our listeners, I'm hoping that my voice, my words, and what's coming forth is what that feels like.
I'm feeling it. I tell you, I'm feeling it, Wenda.
Go ahead.
Please. No, please continue.
Well, I was just going to take it a little step further. And Deidre, I know your background in singing and all of music, and I want to ask you if you have ever felt a true burning in your heart where you're feeling a physical feeling.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes. And for me, it's the music coming through me, singing especially. That comes from the fire in my belly, the fire in my heart is purifying absolutely the vibration of my soul and the total enlightenment of my being. And that is my conduit, my expression of love for the planet, unconditionally. So I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And I find it to be, and here's the word that's coming, so very liberating. And what I am hoping in this moment is that our conversation is blessing our listeners to the point of awakeness. That's a new word. We can coin that one now. Awareness and awakening of their own power, their own passion that is so liberating them to really be in their true I am. So the word passion has come up here. And you know,
and passion,
I know,
and the heart.
Yes, and I know that you want to share that with everybody. That's your creative power. That you,
Yes.
as I know, you're the creator of all that you're so passionate about. And so I'm looking at passion and the heart. I'm looking at those words on a piece of paper, and the acronym. See if I can say this sentence again because I'm so excited. The acronym spells PATH, PATH, right?
Yes, exactly.
Say more,
Passion
please.
in the heart. Yes.
Yes.
So what I guess dawned on me a few years ago was, I have always been about love in my heart, and I know and I have experienced when I am so passionate about something, I get this burning in my heart. If I am sitting out in nature and the sun's shining on my face and words just start flowing out of me, I get passionate and I get this twinging, waving, throbbing, burning feeling in my heart. And I'm like, wow, that's passion. That's where our creativity spawns from, is that burning in the heart. When you are so intensely passionate about something, can't you go out and create? Deidre, you do that with your music. You are creating an energetic imprint when you are at your peak of passion. You are on your path, and you are creating. You are experiencing passion in the heart, and you are on your path. You are at the core of your creative power.
Wow.
So, to all our listeners, I say go to where your passion is in your heart. Feel that intensity. Feel that strength and power. And that's where you can create.
Oh, those are magnificent words of encouragement, Wenda. I'm going to ask you just to repeat those last couple sentences.
I would just say that I guess I ask everybody, what is your heart's desire? We hear that all the time. What is your heart? What does it desire? What makes you yearn to be at that point? With that passion, with your heart, go for it. Feel the intensity, feel the strength, feel the passion at that point in your heart. And walk forward.
Yeah. So, Wenda, what is your passion? What is it that you love to do?
I actually love to listen to people and their stories. I love, I'm not a person to go into a big crowd of people and, be in the limelight, and that's not me. I'm the one-on-one person because I love to connect. I connect with my eyes. I connect with my heart. I connect with my touch. And if I can be, and Deidre, you and I haven't been in personal contact yet, but we certainly made this deep heart connection in how we've connected. And we've shared a lot, and that's what I love to do. That's my passion. I love to step into the world of the person I'm connecting with, to feel their passions, feel the flow of energy around them. And I think, Deidre, you could speak to this, is that sometimes I feel inspired to share back what I'm seeing or feeling, either my own personal experience that I'm mirroring back and forth, or something comes to me about you. And what makes me happy is what I might say, or share that allows me to be a catalyst to shift a person towards their own unique path, to help them zero in on their passion in the heart.
You are that person, as I have experienced you so far, Wenda. Absolutely, passion in the heart. And you have been a catalyst in my life so far, and I express enormous thanks for that. So I, as a believer in many incarnations on this and other planets, I feel certain that you have had many interesting incarnations that you could share with us if we had hours and hours, and that would be wonderful. Of course, in today's interview, we have X amount of time, but I would love for you to share why you have chosen to be here at this time and in this space.
Well, I think I mentioned before the words energy imprint, and I did, even though I was awakened and aware of who I am, I wondered, why am I on this planet at this time? Why am I working at a corporate job and all of that? And it really just kept coming back to me in a very simple form. And that is to anchor a particular energy imprint no matter where I am. I anchor it in the earth, I anchor it in the heavens, I anchor it in the galaxy. I can anchor it in my family unit, I anchor it in wherever I work, any projects that I'm working on. And, it's my belief that humanity and Earth, and for the entire universe, galaxy, for that matter, is on an upward spiral to higher levels of vibration, consciousness. We are all spiraling towards oneness, spiraling back to source, where all things are connected. And specifically, the energies that I feel like I anchor are peace, love, grace. Grace is very, very much a part of who I am, and that's another word that maybe in the future we can talk about. But compassion and wholeness. I live these things. I talk these things. I see them in images. I write about them.
Oh, yes.
And
I've read some of your poetry. Yes, please continue.
Well, I'll share with the listeners a piece towards the end of our talk. I also would describe myself as being here. I am a conduit for the movement of energy. We use this word in corporate America called change agent. And I certainly am an energy change agent. Wherever I put myself, either on a project, in a work location, things never stay stagnant. They always shift. I would say they shift towards a higher aspect of itself. I've certainly seen it in my family unit. No matter where I work, things move. They don't stay the same. I'm doing a little stint at a retail store right now, and the whole management staff has shifted.
Oh, yes.
Out with the old and with the new kind of thing. And part of it is I embrace change. I love change. So, that, I guess that kind of sums up why I'm here. And once I found, or it kept coming back to me, and I accepted who I am, I have so much fun. I love myself even deeper for just accepting the knowingness of why I'm here and what I'm doing. So I would share that
yes.
for others to love and accept themselves for who they are and what they're here to do, because we all carry keys to moving.
Oh, it's a beautiful invitation. Just a beautiful invitation. So the fun in your life, the fun aspect. What do you do that you just do for fun?
You know, I am free. I am free at this point in my life to do whatever I choose to do every day. Just, you know, I'm not going to go into the details of it other than perhaps I just choose to feel to be free. But, you know, I connect with people all over the place. I've worked with people all over the globe, and love and bless every single person, being that I connect with. That is so much fun, and if I'm not having fun, then things move and change. But my being always seeks fun and joy. But more physical than that, I love movement, again, in my physical body. So I am just getting into Qigong. I've done Tai Chi. I love yoga and basically dancing. I have danced my whole life. Not
wonderful.
Just for fun. I mean, there were days in my 20s and 30s, or I should say weeks, where I would be out on a dance floor probably 4 or 5 nights of the week because I just love it.
Yeah.
Now I've transitioned from different kinds of music, but I still, in fact, last night I went out dancing because
wonderful.
It moves my soul. And I love to meditate, specifically in the sun. There's something a lot of people can relate to when I'm out and I feel the sun's rays touching my face. It just lights me up. So I just recently, in the past 2 months, started meditation. I call it my healing triad. A couple of friends of mine, one is over in Europe and the other one is in Canada. Once a week we get together on a conference call and we just meditate together, and we trade off who leads the meditation, and we have a blast because we just sit there and go anywhere we want to, and we take the other 2 people with us. And I would just share with you the concept of the power of many coming together with a focused intent. It's amazing.
Oh, yes. Stories abound, and they are true stories. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And the last thing I would like to share that Wenda loves to do is write. I love to write. And back in the early 2000s, I wrote a fair amount of poetry, and I put it together and self-published a little book. But I also can words just pour out of me. So I have been known to help a lot of people who could use some assistance in writing, and I just love it. It's a passion.
Well, you write beautifully, Wenda, and I know you have a book of poetry, and I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about that as well.
Okay, just the title of it is "In Grace You Will Abide," and unfortunately, I don't have. Each of my daughters has a copy. I have a copy, and that's all that's left from my initial publishing of it. And I just have this burning desire to pull together an updated version of it, but actually produce it in ebook format. But I haven't quite come across all the right tools, skills, platform where I know it's right for it. So I'm just keep observing and looking for that. So if there's any of our listeners out there that has experience and recommends anything, I would love to receive that from you.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I think it's time for all of us to be really disseminating our gifts in a big way. So for our listeners, I have read Wenda's poetry. It's magnificent. And if any of our listeners have any information that would be helpful to Wenda, I would certainly encourage stepping forward and offering that, because there is beautiful gifting that you have to offer our planet, Wenda. And I'm happy to provide this platform for you to give voice to who you are and send your energy imprint. And I love that expression, your energy imprint, out to the world. It's a great honor for me to be part of a platform for you to send yourself out to the world as you are, to bring your I am. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted so much for you to be on the show today, to give voice to who you are. And you are such a unique being, as I have gotten to know you. I've experienced you so far as you genuinely are here to share and connect. There is no hidden business or any other agenda on you. You are just simply pure love and pure loving action in physical form. And I really, really, really ratify that. And you're right. You're not a Pollyanna. You're not blind. You're not deliberately naive. You are simply an innocent with a very, very, very clear awareness of who you are. And as I say, it's just such an honor for me to even be in your world and for us to be forming the friendship that we are. So really wonderful. I want to speak to our listeners specifically and say, if anyone wishes to connect with Wenda for whatever your personal high energy reason is, Wenda's email is wendaspath@gmail.com. That's wendaspath@gmail.com. And I am going to take a moment and spell that. It's WENDASPATH@gmail.com. So again, that's WENDASPATH@gmail.com. So Wenda, we're coming to the close of our time. Sadly, I'm saddened that we're at the end of our time, but we are coming there. And I'm going to ask you to share any last words that you have for us and our listeners today, or me and our listeners, I should say, our listeners and me. Let me get the grammar straight here, and then to share one of your poems, please.
Well, thank you so much, Deidre, for having me on the show. It was so much fun. I knew it was going to be fun. But I hope that my sharing might have sparked or activated some valuable knowingness within our listeners' hearts. I really hope that I have been able to, or you and I together have been able to inspire in their own world passion in their heart. So, I just encourage people to look at those words and feel and go forth and have fun. And I would just repeat what Deidre said. I'm open to communicating forward with any of the listeners that feel inspired to connect with me. I have absolutely no business intent in doing so. I am just an open heart, ready to listen and share. And I appreciate all of you. I bless all of you. And I've selected one of my poems to share. And in reading this poem, my hope is purely love and inspiration to reach each of you that are listening to this show. And
please read to us, Wenda, please.
I love you all. the title of this particular piece is called Warmth Inside the Heart. I sit beyond the window. The rays of sun warm my face. Going deep, I draw my breath, releasing all but love of self. In its chambers, I am home. Peace washes through my soul. The softness of colors consume me. My presence I touch here. I reach out in connection with all. The sacred chambers open. Love flows endlessly, giving, receiving, communing. I am grateful to all of the vision, giving hope and rest to the weary. Blessings flow through me. I am but all that I am. Pause a moment to draw in the waters divine. No thirst shall not be quenched. No longings will remain. Peace be with you, children of the One. Share in wondering. Share in wonderment within this heart of mine.
Wenda Blake, bless you, and huge blessings to all who listen to this podcast. So be it.
The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the show and host. This podcast and its content are not intended to diagnose or treat any medical or mental condition or substitute for proper professional care in this regard. You've been listening to the Deidre Reigel Hope and Healing Radio Show, where your voice matters. We hope you have enjoyed this podcast and found inspiration for your own life. If you would like to be a guest on this show, please contact us at drhoperadio@gmail.com. That's drhoperadio@gmail.com. I'm Oliver Dill on behalf of all of us here at the Deidre Reigel Hope and Healing Radio Show, wishing you a day full of joy and goodness. The views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the show and host. This podcast and its content are not intended to diagnose or treat any medical or mental condition or substitute for proper professional care in this regard.